Sunday. I'll let you know a little bit about what we had planned for the day, and rest assured that part of it we can do outside if you guys need a little vitamin D. I know it's been a long winter. So we're just going to jump in now. There's a couple members of our board that are coming up from Toronto and are a little bit late. So I'm going to hold off the group introductions until a little bit later so that you'll all get to know each other. But I was going to give you just like a little overview for people that are kind of new to the project and wondering what the heck has been going on and what this Glassworks rumors are all about. Let you know sort of where we're at, how we got to now, and where we are in terms of jumping into next steps to move the project forward.
The microphone.
Oh, do I need a microphone, guys?
Sure. My mom wants a microphone. Wow. Things just got really rich. And I just got really tangled. Okay.
And then what we were going to do at that point was I'll give you a little overview of the committee expansion that we were envisioning to sort of take advantage of everybody's interests and passions as they relate to this project, and sort of cluster around those common interests and passions and maybe even a little bit of expertise or experience in it to talk about what those next steps would look like. And that we can most definitely do in the sunshine. We can take groups of chairs out, so if you guys feel like it's warm enough and you want to do that, I don't want to be the one holding you captive indoors on a beautiful day like this. And then we'll come back after that and just have a little bit of a report back of what each group was talking about, what they see as being their next steps to all sort of pool our resources together towards taking the whole Glassworks initiative to the next level, to get to the point where we've got a site, we've got a design, and we're actually building. This thing is actually happening. Because we have definitely the interest, we've sort of recognized the need, and we've got, people that want to live in a place like this for themselves, people that want to invest in it, people that want their parents to live there, people that want to see something this creative and exciting and full of potential for Owen Sound. And so where we are, it's been a sort of a small committee and lots of interested parties, and we're just trying to like coalesce that a little bit around some skill sets and expertise that can help sort of just take us to that next level. So thank you guys all for being here. And I just want everybody to know that I know you all have things to bring to the table, even if you don't see your own particular skill sets listed on any of these sort of the committee descriptions that we have up. Just let us know what you're interested in, and there's definitely a role for people that are really good at making people feel welcome in a room, people that are really good at organizing files, people that are good at doing taxes or envisioning spaces, interior, exterior. There's room for all of your expertise in a project of this scale. So if I don't say anything that particularly points to you, don't think that there's no room for it, because there most definitely is. So I just want to let you know a little bit about the project for those of you that are kind of new. And then I'll introduce you to sort of the board members and the founding directors, and then we'll do a round of introductions once our latecomers arrive, okay? All right, so Glassworks has been sort of sprouting out of its seed of an idea for about a year and a half now. We gathered for the first time in this room, November 2017, and the idea has been like slowly growing and developing. We are now officially incorporated as a not-for-profit. And thank you, gentlemen, for taking care of the atmosphere here. It's great. And Zoe, who is part of our board, has done amazing work getting our website together. So if you've had a chance to peruse a little bit about what we've been up to, it's at glassworks.coop. Okay, so rough idea of the vision. It's all sort of based around this idea of co-design. So I don't know if, how many of you have been dealing with this directly, but we have a serious lack of housing options in Owen Sound, as we do in lots of places. Houses are generally in neighborhoods built, around what's the financial model and, what's the easiest, the quickest. And there's not a lot of opportunity for places that are designed by the people that are actually going to live there. And we have a strong commitment to these being both affordable and sustainable housing options. And we want to make sure that that we're able to marry those two commitments. That, you know, sustainable isn't something that only the wealthy can afford in big, beautiful custom homes out in the country, but it's something that with thoughtful design and choice of materials, that's something that's actually affordable for our whole generation going forward, because that's, you know, what's going to tackle the state we're in with climate change and the environment, is really like using all the capacity we have to make our design choices sustainable and affordable. And we also envision some mixed-use element. It's not like an isolated residential community that people have to drive to get everything else they need. We want to make sure that it's a place that is connected to the greater community of the Owen Sound area, that it's got, you know, transit options, even car share options associated with it that's bikeable and walkable, and maybe even has some of those everyday amenities within the buildings and sites itself. So we've been looking at lots of great examples from all over the world. There's some really, really cool community designs. Lots in Europe, in Northern Europe. This is one from, there's lots in Sweden actually, that incorporate green roofs, that incorporate lots of accessibility elements. So for example, when people are looking to downsize in their senior years, that you're not looking at an apartment and then, you know, when your abilities change, having to move again, that is designed for aging in place, so that, you know, the same unit that would be suitable to a young couple or a student is also designed for aging in place. So it doesn't have prohibitive stairs, that there's railings where they're needed, all that kind of thing. Again, just using the design process to tackle many issues. Some other inspiring examples, so in the top left corner there, this is just outside of London. It's called Bedzed. That was the first net zero, so that means like a community that creates as much energy and absorbs and saves as much carbon outputs as it creates. So it's not using electricity and creating carbon dioxide emissions because of the way it's been designed. So it's got about 100 units, it's got a part of a university worked into it, and car share, some office buildings, and some retail. The one that in the bottom corner is just out in Vancouver, and it's designed by Cameron and McDermott, who are very famous, a group of American architects that their background is co-housing. So what they do is they sit with communities just like this that have a vision of a place that they'd want to live and help work them through that process to get there. From the vision to the organization to the actual design to the financing and buying the site and the contracting and actually building it. So just so you know, there's people that specialize in this and lots of resources to get from an idea to a built community. Top right there is called Rengen, and it's a brand new design coming out of the Netherlands, and it's got these fantastic community sustainability systems built into it, so all the water is recycled and reused on the site. Most of the food eaten in the community is grown on site. It's got lots of greenhouses worked into it. It creates all its own electricity through sustainable measures. So there's lots of living, already built examples of how these things can happen, and they're starting to get to that point of affordability. So we've got lots of inspiring, real examples to work from. And in the bottom right, we've got some friends in Peterborough at the Mount Center. I don't know if anyone's familiar with them, but it's a community group just like this, started off with an idea and a cool old monastery that was up for sale. And they went through the process of getting organized, raising money, and renovating it one chunk at a time. And it now has some really beautiful condominiums, affordable housing, assisted housing, and also, you know, beautiful rooms that are rented for community events. It houses a whole bunch of community organizations in little offices and an institutional kitchen. So it's created this whole community hub from an inspiring property that was up for sale and some interested community members. So that's also someone that we have as a mentor who has gone through this whole process just recently in the last 6 to 8 years. And so this is just a little bit looking in at why we feel that this is suitable to Owen Sound.